Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Machin Le'ira Online Smicha. There is a halacha in Shulchan Aruch that, even though it's mentioned in Shulchan Aruch as halacha l'maisa, l'poil, we find that a lot of Klal Yisrael is mekel on it. It's so much mekel that it comes to Pesach night, we make a stress to say, tonight we should be different. Today you should be machmir to do this halacha, which maybe throughout the year you are not so machmir. And that is the halacha of Netilas Yadayim on something which is tibuli b'mashka, something which is dipped in an item, a fruit, a vegetable, or a cake, which is dipped in soaking in water, or soaking in mashka, in a liquid. For the Chachamim made at the Kana that you should not eat it unless you do Netilas Yadayim. Very similar to the halacha that you need to have Netilas Yadayim before you eat bread. Now, this is halacha in Shulchan Aruch. So let's discuss some of the issues that people are not aware. Just to establish the fact, what is considered halachically a liquid, that if there's something that's dipped into it, you have to wash your hands. So there's a siman that Chazal gave us, Yad Shachat Dam. Those are the 7 mashkois. And the 7 mashkois are also Negea for Hilchas Tumah. These 7 mashkois is what causes something to be roi l'kabel tumah. Yad shachat dam. So yad is yayin, wine. Dalid is dvash, honey. Shin is shemen, oil, which it means olive oil. Ches is cholov. Cholov is milk. Milk will also include lebanon, like of today's days. Hard cheeses are not considered a mashkin. Tau, dew, dam, blood, and mayim is water. These are the 7 mashkois. If there's any item that's soaking, how much soaking, that if you touch the item, your hand, it's called tefeach al manas latfeach. Anything that touches it will also become wet. Then you can't eat it, you can't touch it without doing the Netilas Yadayim. Now, even if you're dipping in this vegetable or the food, just part of it, you're not dunking it in completely, you still shouldn't do it unless you do Netilas Yadayim, because we are afraid that if once you're dipping it, you might dipping it completely in. So the Achrayim talk about how about a type of food that you don't totally immerse in the liquid. Would it be any different? Now, I said one of the liquids are wine. So there's a discussion in Achrayim. The Alter Rebbe also talks about it, and there's a psak din from the Gra. How do you deal with mashka, vodka, alcohol? Some say that alcohol, because it's made from steam, zeya, it's steam, is zeya considered a liquid because it comes from mayim, steam from water, or may it have a din of may peiros, fruit juice, which fruit juice is not one of the shiva mashkois. So Lepoil, it looks from the Alter Rebbe and definitely for the Gra that you have to be machmer and considered mashka of alcohol one of the 7 mashkois, and therefore even having something dipped into alcohol would be a problem. Now, there's an interesting statement that the Shulchan HaTorah from the Kamarna makes, and he says that, we have to figure out how is it that we do see so many people that are not careful in this halacha. They eat so many foods that are tabul b'mashka. So he says that there are people that whereas it comes to Netilas Yadayim for Suda, for Amoitzi, you're very, very, very machmer. But they found the loopholes for this halacha for Netilas Yadayim for things that are tibul b'mashka. They not so machmer, because for this you could rely on the fact that you wash your hands in the morning. You wash your hands in the morning from waking up, or before, especially again before davening, you wash your hands. Then that washing your hands also allows you to eat tibuli b'mashka, which it wouldn't work for hamoitzi on bread. Now, especially you find that some people after Shachris might take cookies or something and dip it into mashka, dip it into liquid, that because it's right after Shachris, they're relying on the fact that they wash their hand before davening. As mentioned before, mashka has this big machloikus if it's one of the shiva mashkois or not. Now, those people who like eating cookies and milk, which is common food, but they not only like eating cookies and milk, they like dipping the cookies or the lekach or the cake into the milk. Milk is one of the sheva mashkois. It seems to be that if you follow these rules, it's definitely usher, because whereas dipping cake lekach into vodka or mashka, there are some people that don't hold mashka as a one of the sheva mashkois because it's steam, it's zeya. However, cholov is definitely one. So to dip cookies into milk or to dip cookies into the coffee or tea definitely seems to be an issue. Why are people makel? Because they're careful that they'll put the cookie into the coffee or to the hot tea, but they're not holding the part of the cookie that went into the liquid. You're definitely not going to get your hands wet into the coffee and tea. So some find that that's a heter. Another heter, because even though you might be eating a large piece of cake or maybe a few cookies, but cookie by cookie is less than a kazayas. So because every time you're eating something that's dunked into the milk, you're eating less than a kazayas, some say that is the loophole they find for this. Another example would be, many people enjoy a good piece of gefilte fish or fish, and with the fish there is yoich, fish sauce, fish liquid. A lot of people love it on Shabbos. Now, during the Shabbos meal, you're washed. But would you be able to take a cracker and just eat the fish yoich, the fish sauce, the fish liquid? Fish liquid should be water. And if it's a water, it's mayim. You can't dip anything in. That's something you have to be aware. Somebody pointed out something to me, and I think it's important. There is a minig, the Rebbe spoke about this minig, that in a Shana Rabbah, after Tilim or Shina Rabbah night, the Gabbai gives out apples and gives out honey, and everybody, when they come home or in shul, they would eat the apple dipped in honey. Now, when we eat apple dipped in honey Rosh Hashanah, over there we're doing it right after you wash, so it's not a shaila of you're doing it b'toich hasuda. It's not a shaila to bulu mashke. You washed already. But when you're eating it Rosh Hashanah, Shana Rabbah at night, you're eating just an apple dipped in honey. Some people have questioned apple dipped in honey might be a shaila of tibula b'mashka.